Our spirit. What is it? Where does it go? Are we able to see them using our mind's eye? If so, just what can spirit teach us? Welcome to School Through Spirit. Host DeEtte Ranae is a certified psychic medium and master teacher of psychic and mediumship development through LWISSD. DeEtte was born knowing spirit and now is here to help you better understand the spirit world. And now your host, DeEtte Ranae.
Hello, everybody. This is DeEtte Ranae here on School Through Spirit with WLTKDB.com. This is a show where I do explore different people's lives, their modalities, and how spirit really just has affected them. Now, each week I do have a topic of, I want to say interest, but it's really a topic of whatever spirit has given me. And then we go on to our guest. And this week it's Tiffany Harelik. So hopefully I've again pronounced your name correctly because we know how beautifully I do with that. And we're gonna just kind of go from there. Now we're gonna start doing things a little old school on this. You know why? Because I miss my producer. I never get to talk to him anymore. So guys, I do apologize, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be sharing my link to my show while I am beginning to talk. Okay, just because I miss him, and if I don't do it this way, I never get to speak to him. We go into the ethers, and it's been like over a month, and this is crazy. So, and since I have a 2-hour show, why not? I think you guys like to watch me babble anyway, right? I don't know about that, but you know what I mean. So, I want to talk about today, and I'll tell you what, today has really hit me kind of like, holy crap, hard on what to talk about because I didn't want to talk about this. I really did not. There's certain things I like to keep off of Facebook, and there's certain things that I like to keep on Facebook or whatever. But it really has been brought to my attention about talking about authenticity, and primarily probably in mediumship, or I can't say the word authenticity and integrity. Okay, and I am going to mainly talk about it within mediumship and psychic development and things of that nature. But really, it's just plain being a human. Okay, just plain being a human. And and I will tell you what, let me finish just 2 more places I gotta put this because I really want to give this my full attention. Normally, you know me, I just babble and keep going, but I really want to give this my full attention. One more place. It really, I will tell you, I think this is where my struggle is. Like, I'd rather ignore the topic that I want to go to and post than to come on and do this. But I wanna tell you what got me to go, okay, I will talk about this was this morning I was watching the procession, the I believe it's kind of the last part of Queen Elizabeth's funeral. And I don't know about you guys, and I don't know. I know everybody has a different way of looking at her. To me, she's touched my heart. I'm in America. I'm this pissant person. If you think, I mean, not that I'm a pissant or anything like that, but I'm this very small person in America, Wisconsin, of all places. So, most people even go, oh, Wisconsin, where? Is that like a city, a county? What is that? A lot of people don't even realize it's a state. So really, I'm very much a small person in this world. And she wasn't quote unquote my queen because Wisconsin, the United States, doesn't have a queen. But I'll tell you what, she's a woman that's really impacted and affected my life over the last, I will say, 6 or 7 years. Really, a lot of my growth, a lot of my growth period. I really got led to watching her, and not within the bureaucracy and the politics and everything behind the scenes, because I'm not that type of person. It's more of the woman that she is, the authentic part of her integrity. Um, and something was said about her today that really brought me to say, yeah, I will talk about this. Was she was always a person that spoke her truth, and she was a person that thought about things, and she was a person that didn't go back on her word. She didn't go back on it. So she put thought into things. Before she said it, before she spoke it, before she made it public, she really she thought about these things. She didn't just make rash thoughts, rash decisions. And she thought about what she does or says, how it affects a people. Not just, not just a huge global nation, but down to the one person. Just down to the one person, down to the one thing. And it really impressed me today when they spoke about how when she would take this journey, I believe it was on her birthday, she would stop and servants would come out, her people that worked with her would come out with carrots on platters to feed to the horses because she even wanted them to know, hey, good job. And I'll tell you why I watched the procession when I was able to. I was waiting for them to stop and give horses carrots, and they didn't. But that's okay because that was Queen Elizabeth's thing. But then it started to make me think about things that have happened over this last week for me. The things I don't want to talk about, the things I don't want to address. Now I address them with my students. Oh man, I nail it hardcore into my students because it's the reason I teach is being authentic and having integrity. Why? Because what we do as a psychic or a medium, those are taglines of a description of our job, of who we are. But there's something further in that, so much deeper. And it's insane how deep it goes. Because even though, especially in America, we have a entertainment purposes only clause with us. In the UK, there's like a witching law. There's a law, and I don't know what to call it. I'm going to call it a witching law because in America we call it a witching law. Um, but it is you cannot do harm with our abilities. Boom, end of line, mic drop. There you go. We have to think before whatever comes out of our mouth. Yeah, we have the old thought process of, hey, this is, give what you get, give what you get, give what you get. Yeah, I get it. But when it comes in and it's not asked for and it is not warranted to give, you shut your damn mouth. And you can tell I'm very passionate about this. Because over the last weeks, this is what I've seen. I've seen fellow mediums and fellow psychics give what they get unwarranted. If somebody does not ask you for a reading, shut your damn mouth. If somebody does not ask for the information, shut your damn mouth because it's hurtful. Because you are not looking at a whole situation. You are not looking at a bigger picture. And you are not realizing what your effect of is on somebody. We can do a lot of damage, a lot that hurts people. And as a medium, we have to look at those things and we have to take that into account. We have to remember what comes out our mouth can help somebody. And that's what we're there for. We're there to help heal. We're there to help pass on information. Now, I'm going to give you this situation that really hit close to me this week and really has stuck in my head. And I think this is the reason why Spirit won't let me let it go. And maybe it might be ego. I don't know. At this time, I'm just going to spit it out anyway. We have a cat in our house that we've had for longer than cats should live, honestly. It's been sick a long time. And he's been actively passing over the last days. Actively passing. Now, he's not suffering. I'm a medical intuitive, trust me. I mean, I love this cat. I've held this cat. I've cuddled this cat right up until, this morning because he's still with us today. He's going home today. But he hasn't been suffering at all. I can feel his sadness, but he has no pain. And I did a reel on him for his mommy because he had a day where he stood up and he was meowing and another cat was helping him. And I did a reel on it and I put it on Facebook for his mom because I thought it was beautiful. And instantly I had people that say they're mediums, say they have integrity, that came out basically shaming because that cat wasn't in a vet. They couldn't put their finger on what was going on. And all I could think was, wow. I took the reel down instantly because Not because I was ashamed of it, not because I'm trying to hide something, but because I didn't want to take something that was so beautiful and have it ruined by a bunch of people that literally don't have integrity. They don't have enough to know to go further because the people that looked at it and the people that said something didn't bother. They looked at the cat's eyes and they looked at his thinness. And they didn't bother to look further and to see, wow, his soul was saying goodbye. They didn't look to bother to look in further to see there's nothing there is to do to help this cat. Why? Because it's his time. Instead, they gave an unwarranted information based on their ego. And because they have the title of medium on the tail end of that, I wasn't who I was. I might have done this cat a lot of harm because of in the family. So my thing is really being authentic and integrity. And sometimes we just have to go, wait a second, it's not my place. Now we have a lot of TV shows out there, and we have a lot of movies out there. We have a lot of stuff in the public eye that really looks like this is what I mean. They've done it. They've done it with Teresa Caputo. They did it with Lisa Williams. They've done it with other mediums, John Thomas. You know, all these ones, these beautiful people that they get these amazing shows to really affect people's lives, and God love them because you know what? They take me and everybody like me, and they make us mainstream. They help people to understand us, and they make my life, my journey, a little bit easier. But what we don't see is the behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, trust me, Teresa Caputo is not walking up to random strangers going, "Hey, I see your dead grandma," because it's not how it works. She doesn't do any reading that isn't welcomed because they literally walk her onto, they say, "Hey, where are you going to be today? What's in your life plan today?" Well, you know what? I got to get up and I got to go to the grocery store, and today's my nail day, so I'm going to go to get my nails done today. And then you know what? I got to go over here to my dad's, where my dad worked at the fire department, and then I got to go see my boyfriend at his job, and then I'm going to go see my daughter, and we're going to go have lunch here, and blah blah blah. And she says her course of the day, what her errands for the day are. And her producers go out that day to all these locations first thing in the morning, and they say, "Teresa's going to be here from this time to this time. If you would like a chance to have a reading, please come to us, sign a paper, sign your life away. You're saying okay that if she perchance picks you, and be here from this time to this time." It's no different than if you would look at her website and schedule a reading. They're asking for a reading. They're saying, "Hey, I'm going to be here." And when she shows up in the process of getting her nails done, she's opening up that moment and saying, "Wow, it's great. Oh my gosh, I have got grandma." And she goes on for the information with grandma. And then whoever's there is like, "That's mine." And it's beautiful and it's amazing, but it's still not unwarranted. I've also had the joy of watching people that I know sit in a restaurant as a server comes up and look at server and say, "Oh, I'm getting all this information, and you shouldn't be doing this because all this bad stuff is going to happen." It's terrifying to somebody because A, it's not warranted, it's not your place, and two, they're not sitting down. You are not getting in their personal, and you are not getting all up in their energy to find out everything, to find out about it all, and you're affecting them in a negative way, not positive. Because trust me, I've watched it time and time and time and time again where it has not been positive. We are when we do it, we're in our egos because we want the glory of, oh, we got this information versus, oh my God, I'm really helping this person. Because trust me, you're not helping them, you're hindering them. When people want a reading, they call us up. When they want a reading, they say, "Hey, I need something different in my life. I need guidance." And that's why people get a hold of us. And that's where we have to stand to our authenticity, our integrity. Because I'll tell you what, I'm also a nurse. I've held my license for 21, 22, 23 years, whatever. I don't even know how long it's been now. I've held that license, and you will never watch me. You will never see me walk up to somebody in a restaurant that has a hangnail and put a damn Band-Aid on it. Hello, everybody. I'm sorry. I haven't been over there clicking, but hello, everybody. Sorry. Um, but I wouldn't do that because it's not warranted. Now let's take that a little bit further. Let's take it a little bit further. And Louise, I'm not doing readings on this show, honey. That's tomorrow night. So, but let's take it a little bit further, guys. As a medium and as a psychic, and then literally as anybody, because I will tell you what, in my world, everybody's a psychic. Everybody is. We're just not picking and choosing. I mean, we all have the ability. It's just a matter of do you use these? Do you strengthen these? Do you push on? You know, everybody's got this stuff. So when information comes in, how do you give it? How do you present it? We've had a lot of war lately. Had a lot of war. And it's not been fun. War, and we've had a lot of things happen in our world. And when we give readings and somebody goes, "Oh my God, my loved ones, might be is enlisted and they might get sent over." Sometimes we have to stop and go, "Okay, how are we getting that information? What are we receiving?" Now, if you hear in your head, if they go, they're not coming back, please don't give that. And it's not trying to hide the truth. It's not trying to keep the truth to ourselves. But because you don't understand the whole entirety of that, you don't know how you're affecting somebody's life. Because sometimes we think in our own ego, we are giving that information as if it's a warning to them. Hey, Marcus. But look at the back half of that. How else is that affecting them? You are telling the person that might be going over there, they're hopeless, they're going to die. You know what? They're not going to try maybe when they go over. They're not going to go over and go, "Oh, I'm going to try so much harder to stay alive." They might go over feeling hopeless. Why even try? Because you've told them they're going to die. You're telling their loved one to say goodbye and to stop living their life now and never leave the house, never leave that phone, never leave anything because it might be the last time. And they're going to be afraid to live for however long they're gone. We're really impacting people's lives, aren't we? Now, if you're getting the information, maybe it's they're not coming back as the same person. Maybe it's because whatever they're going to see is going to affect them. Maybe the death of them isn't the death of the physical body. Maybe it's the death of the way they are. Because I'll tell you what, I have seen plenty of messages where somebody's called me about relationships and said, "Are we ever going to get back together?" And I tell them I see a new relationship coming. I also tell them I do not know if this is a new relationship as a new partner or if something dynamic is happening within yours and it's going to be brought to life in a new way because I don't know. And it's not like I'm trying to flip both sides of the coin because I'm not. But who am I to tell them, "Oh my God, this this relationship that's just kind of but they're still married is going to completely end." And here comes Mr. Right. Well, Mr. Right might be the man sitting next, in the thing, the 500-pound guy sitting next to you, and he decides that, oh my God, because something changed, and all of a sudden he needs a weight loss journey, and he loses 300 pounds, and oh my God, he's entering his life again, and that's the new relationship. So we have to think. We need to push. We need to go beyond our initial what we get. We need to push fast and ask that spirit, ask that energy for more information versus just blabbing out the simple things. Because when we blab out the simple, we're just about the drama, aren't we? We're just about creating drama. And how do we get rid of drama? but we ask for more information. We try to see the bigger picture. We see it, all of it. And that's also about being authentic. And that's also about the integrity, pushing past, pushing further, finding out why, find out what's going on. Trust me, I will guarantee you it's never going to be simple. Ever is it going to be simple. There's always a bigger picture. In the end, the message is going to be simple. But between point A and point D, there's a journey. There's a bigger picture. So please do me a favor in your walk this week. Sit back and think about the bigger pictures. Sit back and think about the whys before we come to a determination. Now, this is just with psychic and mediumship, but this is really about life, isn't it? Because we're always so quick to judge. We're always so quick to jump on. We are a feel-good society. That's why we have McDonald's so popular down the corner, is because we want it now. But I'll tell you what, the good stuff is at the expensive restaurant at the end of the block. It's going to make you wait for over an hour for your food and put you through all the appetizers and the wine list first. Because the bigger picture is is the whole experience. It's the journey to it. Nobody ever got good health from McDonald's. Nobody ever got a good meal from McDonald's that was all around good. But I guarantee you, go down the rest down the line, you're gonna have to, who do I want to go there with? You're gonna walk through, you're gonna have a reservation, you're gonna have a little bit of chat, you're gonna sit at the bar and have a drink, then you're gonna go to your table and you're gonna order your first appetizer. It's gonna be very small for the price, and you're gonna chit chat, and then your meal is gonna come. It's even gonna be smaller than the appetizer. But oh my God, you're gonna have beautiful conversation, and then there's gonna be dessert, and then there's bread, and there's after dinner drinks, and before you're done, you've got a 2 or 3 hour experience. And at the end, you're very satisfied. And it's amazing. Take your time, guys. In everything in life, take our time. Let's look out. Let's push out. Let's see what more we can do. Okay, let's see a deeper message. Let's look to the depths of our hearts, our souls, our conversations, our Facebook posts, our life, and see what's underlining. Dig deeper. Let's stop the drama. Let's go on for something deeper. Let's start having some integrity and some authenticity as a whole. And let's let the legacy of Queen Elizabeth really, really reign. And I know it's a whole lot more than what I talked about today. Gosh, that woman was just so much. Think about what she's done through her reign, her lifetime. Because I'll tell you what, they talked about it a little bit today. At 10 years old, she was not going to be in line to be the queen. And at 10, she found out she was definitely going to be the queen at some point in her life. And she definitely didn't think it was going to happen soon. So at 10, she had to start thinking about these things. I think we all can do it a little bit. And may she rest in peace forever and always. I know I want to thank her for always affecting my life in a positive way, but really over the last few years, she has really become a dynamic force for myself, and I know for a lot of people. And I like to thank her for that. So may she rest in peace. On that note, guys, I want to also thank everybody again in America and the UK. God bless you guys. Every day, every week, there's more downloads, and as of today, we are jumped to 65,800 downloads on Podbean alone. And I think that's in 6 weeks, mainly in the UK. I don't know what's happened. I don't know what the messages have been, but I'm so blessed and so thankful that these messages are getting to somebody. And I hope that they keep going and keep affecting people, because that's really what this show has been about, is to see what we can do to help somebody else to understand themselves a little bit more. And that's why I really search out there for people that have a story that's, maybe not so unique, We think they're unique, but maybe not so unique. Maybe it's because their stories affect so many people and there's such a greater understanding of ourselves individually because one person got up and spoke. And I think it's amazing when that happens. And I know today Tiffany is going to affect so many people's lives, and I cannot wait to see the response because she's just phenomenal. She's just phenomenal. Okay. So on that note, guys, I apologize for the harsher topic. I'm not scolding anybody. I just really want people to really take a moment in their lives to really get to the down and dirty within themselves. Okay. And always bring that true nature of who the beauty of who they really are without all the extra stuff on top. We're going to take a quick break here. This is DeEtte Ranae on School Through Spirit with WLTKDB.com. I'll be back in a few.
This is WLTKDB Talk Radio.
Come see our new station shop for some amazing top quality merchandise. There is something for everyone, like blankets, electronics, clothing, and much more. Head on over to WLTKDB.com and click shop to show your support by sporting our logo. The WLTKDB Station Shop at WLTKDB.com. Paranormal talk is our business, and business is good. Want to see your video here? Sponsor WLTKDB Talk Radio and watch us make that happen. With your paid sponsorship of $80, you receive a professional produced audio, video, and banner placement on our station. Not only does your sponsorship air during our live shows, but also replayed on our podcast and heard by hundreds of like-minded people. Visit WLTKDB.com to get started and find out just how hard we work to get you noticed.
The truth is here and now on WLTKDB Talk Radio at WLTKDB.com.
Hey everybody, this is DeEtte Ranae, and I'm back here with School Through Spirit on WLTKDB.com. And I will tell you what, I want to die laughing right now. Just because I couldn't log into StreamYard today. I actually had to click the link, which I haven't had to do forever, and I kept going, I can't see my guest. I'm sending her a message like, are you logging in? And it turns out she's been here. But I want to talk to you a little bit about her before I have her join me. Her name is Tiffany Harelik. I hope she's going to correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm doing better, guys. I'm doing better. I'm still saying I get names. But Tiffany is just this amazing woman. I want to read her bio to you. She's a best-selling author, a psychic medium, and the owner of Spellbound Publishing and Wise Skies Collective. She's a former music event producer. Oh my God. And has I'm just so excited about that. A former music event producer. She holds a master's in health psychology and has received advanced training from the world's best mediums, including Lisa Williams, Tony Stockwell, Janet Novak, Mavis Patella, and beyond. And when she's not serving spirit through her sessions, you can find her and in her I can't say this word, apiary, and her yoga mat and saving seeds in her garden. She's just really, I need to be her. She is such a well-rounded woman. Please welcome Tiffany.
Hi.
You're using words I can't get off my tongue.
I'm like, should I have thrown a curveball with some different words in there?
No, it's. I always laugh because this is how my brain works. Before mediumship, I was a nurse. Words that are like 32 characters long, I can whip out right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I used to say I can say those, and I can tell you what each one of them means, but I can't say the word it. Now, since mediumship, all of those are gone, and normal words are gone now too. So there's words in my head, I can see it in my brain, but I go, and I just go, it's just not my forte. I just don't look intelligent. I'm good with that. I'll talk to dead people. Life is good. And I move on with my life. You know what I mean?
I do. Yeah, I do. So it's garlic, like garlic is how I say it. So that's how you Harelik, like
Thank you.
garlic.
I think I pronounced it 3 different ways, and I'm like, she will correct me, but I'm still saying, I get names. I get names. I get names because I want to get names. You know what I mean?
I do.
So, welcome. Oh my God, I love the behind you. That is so gorgeous. I
Thank
love it.
you. Thank
You
you.
know?
Right,
I knew you what's
yeah.
that?
I'm at the family ranch, and so this is the ranch house background. And this background, actually, it's kind of cool because the people that we bought this house from 20 years ago, they made that adobe from the ground that it sits on, and the barnwood is from the mother's original barn. And
Wow.
so it's just kind of a special house made from the earth, you know.
That is so beautiful. I know you were a little bit worried about it. I'm like, "Oh my God, I want it. Are you kidding me?" It makes me wanna put my fake wood. I used to have I still have it, it's just on that side of the thing, partition. I used to have it behind me, and you could see my hearth and oh, I love that though. Gosh, takes
Thank
me
Yeah,
back.
yeah. I love being here, so I'm excited to talk to you today. And I think I entered the back room on a difficult note. So
Well, it was about, God, it's always hard to talk about it, and you're a teacher, so you understand. Talking about mediumship is amazing. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
We touch it, we teach it, but we always have to hit that word authenticity and integrity. You know what I
mhm,
mean? And I don't think you can talk about it to anybody without a scolding feeling behind it, no matter how much love you have and no matter how much you just, but it's really affected my life over the last week. You know what I mean? It's not very often that I think that we get approached with that. You know what I mean? But
mhm.
where other people have not been authentic towards myself, or I've seen it, and I'm like, my ego is just getting burned up, and I'm not talking about in spirits like. And then they showed me the queen, and they brought up her, and I'm like, fine, I will talk.
Yeah, yeah. Right when I entered, it was "May she rest in peace," and I thought, "Am I in the right show?"
You caught it the very last moment, yeah. Well, it was I brought her up a little bit because it's her funeral, or it's her last and like of her funeral today too, and
Mhm,
I really just I when I had to learn about authenticity and integrity, that's when I actually started to watch her a little bit more. Not
mhm.
for her politics, but really as she was as a person. So, it kinda hit my heart today. But I wanted to talk about you, you know what I
Okay.
mean? Not me today.
Yeah.
So let's talk about you and tell everybody who you I know I did read your bio, but there's so much, but who are you?
There's a lot to talk about, right? Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
I wanna
Tiffany.
join your world. I wanna be one of your students. My
Oh,
gosh.
thank you. That's sweet. Thank you. Yeah, I live in Austin, Texas, and I practice from there. I have a master's in health psychology, and I took an astrology class when I was 20 that really just changed my life. Not because of the astrology, but because of the questions that were asked in the class. And the most important one, was that my teacher said, what do you want to do with this? Because my chart is very intense. I have 4 planets in Scorpio in the 12th house, and it's all very behind the scenes and dark. It's like there's a depth to my chart. And I
Right.
think he was kind of looking at it like, are you going to do something good with this? Like, what are you going to do? And I took it and I thought, really, at the end of the day, I just want to help people. And he said, okay, we can work with that. And so we started to dissect my chart, and it became a big part of my life. But at that time, astrology wasn't cool. It wasn't talked about. It was really, shunned in a lot of places. We used to have this cool metaphysical bookstore when I was little. And so growing up in Austin, in the live music capital of the world, right? Like I had this opportunity to kind of be who I wanted to be. And there's a lot of freedom growing up in Austin.
Right.
Um, I'm an only child, so I wasn't influenced by brothers and sisters. I grew up riding horses. I was on the water ski team. Uh,
Wow.
I used to say I'm on the ski team, but you can't just say that because it's like people think that it's like snow skiing or something normal.
Right.
It's not. Like I wanted to be the pyramid person, I wanted to like do show skiing.
Right. You want to be the top.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then I wanted to like do dolphin research and stuff. So my first major was in marine biology because I wanted to be a show skier.
That works.
But Spirit had other plans, and so through all of my adventures, through all of the different life paths that I took, I continued to have these synchronicities that were just unbelievable, and until they're believable, and then it becomes part of your life. I had a near-death experience when I was 14 that really opened things for me, and I think I think, at psychic mediums, something that they have in common is either things like abuse or difficult, like head injuries, like difficult traumas. You know what I mean? And
Oh,
so I
yeah.
don't recommend it. I don't recommend that's how you get your psychic gifts, but I think it's something that we have in common. And so after this traumatic car wreck, what I had was a different understanding of the way that spirit works
Okay.
from my experience. It wasn't something I read in a book. It wasn't something that somebody told me I should believe in. It really made me question religion versus spirituality at a very young age. And at that point, we had just moved from Austin to Abilene, Texas, which was very different, right? Like a very different.
Oh yeah, they're night and day. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I didn't. It's not that I didn't have someone in my life I could talk to. I just didn't even know how to remotely convey the experience I had gone through. And I was really in shock. But what I saw in the afterlife ended up being something that the other professionals have experienced or had talked about. And I thought there's something to this. So based on my experience, I knew who I could believe. You know what I mean? I knew who I could trust and follow that were sharing some similar experiences. And so it really, I had a pretty normal life. I was a big party girl and for a long time, and I stopped that life. And I'm working on a book called The After Party because it's about the afterlife and life after being involved in the party world. It's really cute. You're gonna like it.
No, that would be a great book. Yeah. Read it.
The After Party. And it's a light way of looking at the afterlife. It's a interesting, I guess, just different take on it. But I guess the idea is over time, these different experiences led me to train more professionally as a medium instead of just kind of wondering what my gifts were or just being lost in the interest of it all. It's like you have to start, or I needed to start to focus down with teachers that could really help me enhance the gift. Right. And we receive it all differently. So it's not like there's a method and an approach like this is the way that you become this. It's like you want to find people that help you become you. Right. And that's why I really cherish those teachers that you read. It's like those teachers do help you become you with the gifts that you have.
And they're all drastically different. Each one of them. And people don't realize, I mean, Mavis Patel to Lisa Williams, and they're both English, but they both are drastically different.
Drastically, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. So what did you have a day job before this or what? I mean, I know you had the masters and all that. So were you doing psychology and then going to mediumship or?
I was doing astrology mostly. So I started by writing the astrology column because it was kind of an easy thing to do. And during that time, I did have day jobs. I was an event producer for Google Fiber for when Google moved to Austin. I was a marketing manager I was the Torchy's first marketing director for Torchy's Tacos, which is now all across the US. I had jobs that were mostly like I worked for C3 in managing the different food courts at ACL Music Festival, at Lollapalooza Music Festival. I pitched festival ideas that we then produced that were live music and food oriented. And yes, I have a fun resume and I have worked for companies, but it's usually been in the capacity of freelance and entertainment. And so there's quite a bit of freedom that comes with that. And, that's, I think my first job was at Dollar Western Wear. And then my second job was at the vet. I really wanted to be a veterinarian. Right. And at my first day at the vet, I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to be a veterinarian. Like it was painful. It hurt me physically,
Mm-hmm.
I was too sensitive for it. So
yeah. And when you look at your life, because you have all these different elements, you know what I mean? How
Mhm.
do you see as all of those different things coming into who you are today? And kind of changing into that.
It's a good question, and it's probably one that's still evolving. Because for a long time, I thought that you couldn't fit everything under this umbrella that's Tiffany. Like there wasn't this like persona brand. I don't know how to say it. I felt like very disconnected from all the different pieces of my life.
Right.
And over time, I've been able to see that each one has built a foundation to do the next thing. But it wasn't clear at the time. And the best way I can describe it is my friend Deborah talks about the chocolate cake. Like you're trying to make a chocolate cake. So you got some flour, you got some like dry ingredients over here. There's no way that's going to turn into a chocolate cake. You got to break an egg and scramble it. This doesn't look like a chocolate cake. I want to eat, and then you do all this alchemy and you put it in the oven through the fire and it comes out a cake. And so that's I guess that's how I would answer that question. It's like all these experiences individually don't look like they led to this point, but they did. And, outside of work, outside of corporate type engagement in the entertainment world, I really like being outside, and nature has been some of my best teachers. I got into beekeeping a couple of years ago. And so being with the bees and observing nature in that way. We've always had horses, and we have dogs and cats, and we're like rescue people. But just being, with nature for a long period of time has also really framed my ability to sit still and connect and listen intuitively.
Right.
So
I love that.
yeah, chocolate cake is my answer.
That's the best answer I think I've ever heard. You know what I mean? I'm always waiting for that. What are they going to say? You know what I mean? I mean, because nurse, I'll say, I know how I became a medical intuitive. No doubt. Boom, here you go. You know what I mean? I don't have the other journey other than yep, this is how it happened. So, I mean, to have such a huge variety in your background, really, to come to who you are today is just amazing, you know?
Thank
And
you.
people always want to go, well, maybe it was a near death experience. Well, it was part of it, part of
Mhm.
it, you know what I mean? But it really, all of you coming together. I love
Mhm.
that. So, how have you found being a medium has changed your? I mean, astrology and mediumship, they're the same, but they are like really, they're night and different. You know, what I mean, they're finally starting to figure out that mediumship, there's some science behind it. But
Mhm.
astrology really is all about the science of something.
Mhm.
So how did you make that leap? I mean, that's a faithful leap. I have students that are astrologers and they're like, whoa, my world is really opened up now. But how do you make that leap?
Well, I think that I don't know that I would say it's a leap because it's like two different things that I do, right? And so the astrology piece, I'm looking at the forecast just like I'm looking at the weather of the sky. I had this really cool encounter, I'll say. One night I had two separate friends that don't know each other and myself, and we all had this alien dream. Okay, so we all had this same dream the same night, and in in mine, um, the interesting part is that they showed me the stars and said, this is the language of the stars. It's just the language of this. It's just another language. And so I was being taught astrology from kind of two different angles, from like this very classical, it's a clock in the sky. These are the cycles. This is what happens. This is the philosophy, behind the influence of each planet, and then study for yourself. And that's what I liked about it. It's like, look, study for yourself. Don't believe us. Don't believe the books. Don't believe the dreams. Just read the weather and see what happens.
Right.
And astrology can really, I think, scare people into like an inactive or like a fear of missing out. Like, oh gosh, the astrology is good. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing in this like one window of time. Or, oh my gosh, the astrology is bad. I better behave differently.
Hmm.
And so I really try to use astrology as a tool that just is just like looking at the weather. One of my clients put it best. He said, sometimes you got to fly over the Bermuda Triangle on Friday the 13th. Like sometimes you just got to go out there and live your life, right? So
Right.
that's astrology. And then mediumship is, to me, it is drastically different. And sometimes in my sessions, they collide because that's my experience,
Hmm.
and so I can speak to both sides of it. Mediumship, you asked, how it has changed my life. I think once I really understood, I've always said, I'm working for both sides. It's for both sides. It's help spirit people and earthly people. And it wasn't really until I read Lisa's book, Survival of the Soul, that
I'm still trying to read that book.
oh my gosh, I like drank it like it was water. You know what I mean?
Her and I, when she was on my show, I literally went, Lisa, I know it's been, like suggestive reading like through 3 courses. I get to this part and it just stops. And she's like, really?
Yeah.
And I went back and tried again. And I get like 1 or 2 pages in and nothing's there. Like I never even looked at it. So I just put the book down and it's traveled all over the world with me. Literally. It's gone to Scotland and back. It's been to Ireland. It's been to Mexico. It's been, I can't tell you how many states in the United States. And I cannot get past, I finally just put it on the shelf because I love the book, but my body just says not yet. My soul says not yet.
Well, your body knows, right? Like your body knows, your soul knows. And what's been trippy about reading that book, like what's been so trippy is that I will have a session and then I'll do my nightly reading. And it's like the thing that just happened, I'm like, what? How did that? And so why is mediumship important to me? It's because I'm able to see from my experience and from that book is how healing it is to the soul on the other side. So what started happening recently, you like practice your mediumship and you're not that great at it, but you're kind of excited about it. And then you kind of get better at it and you get a good one. And then you get some bad ones and you think, oh, you're never supposed to even do this. And, you go on this journey. Well, at some point, like that had leveled off for me at the juncture at which I realized some of the souls that were coming through, like they just needed to have an apology and there was a release. And the other person, I was even able to say, like, I know that you think that you don't need an apology. This is for them. This is for their life review. And after several of those sessions and then reading about the experience that Lisa illustrates in that book, I was like, whoa, like what an honor, what an honor, not just for us living, but I want like a good medium and when I'm going through my life review, you know what I mean? Like,
well, I think that's one reason I was spurred the authenticity today. Like we need a problem. It's like, guys, we're, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. I love that.
And like almost every culture will talk about their life review through their lens of religion or spirituality. And life review, I think one of the biggest messages I have is to not wait, that you will go through that. Yeah. But you can go through that here and kind of get right with yourself here. Wow. And, make your amends, make your apologies, and take responsibility for your life while you can, right? Yeah. I mean, the common messages, right, that mediums share are live your life, like enjoy your life, right? Yeah. But we don't often say like, go make your apologies,
Well, no, because about the time we say that, you know what, everybody thinks they're dying tomorrow. You know, it's like, no, I'm not. I don't know when you're going to die. And I wouldn't tell you if I knew, it's not my place. But I get it because I always go back to this line I read in Jane Son Prog's book. And I've read this line, I don't know, gosh, probably about 9.5 years ago. Because I used to smoke. And I was like a 2.5, 3-pack a day smoker. And I mean, trying to quit. Even the doctors looked at me and said, you are the 1% that will never quit. And I was willing to accept that. Like, okay, whatever. And I read his book because back then I was grabbing up every book I could. And in his book, he said, you can either quit smoking on earth or you can quit in heaven. But either way, you're going to quit. So where do you want to have your DTs at? And he didn't say the DTs part, but it was quit in or quit in heaven. And all I could think was, I'm not going to heaven in my first week going, I wasn't going to see Jesus or whoever on the other side and chew him a new asshole because I was having a neck fit. No, that ain't happening, So now I look at that and it's like, so I'm always going in deeper soul searching and digging and I'm a 0 degree Aquarius, so that tells you how much emotion I put into a thing. You know what I mean? It's
Mhm.
like it's digging deeper and understanding deeper. So I get that, you know. So
Yeah.
but it is what it is, you know. But I don't know. I don't know. So is that how you teach also? Because you're also a teacher.
Is that how I teach mediumship?
Mediumship on the
Well, yeah. Ask ask me a different way, and I'll
okay.
kind of.
How do you go okay, what I will say, because you are a teacher, and I know you're an amazing teacher, I already know that, you know what I mean? Um, so how do you go about what is your importance on teaching mediumship? Where is your, like,
Okay.
almost mission statement? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's
A little
it's
bit
it's
better?
hilarious. It's actually a big cosmic joke because it's I can't. I mean, I knew. So last night I'm like, shoot, why am I trying to write a mission statement? And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I don't need a mission statement. And the reason
It's
I
funny
had
because
this
I've
whole.
never asked anybody before either,
Well,
ever.
it's my guide, and it's a cosmic joke going on right now. And I have like an elevator pitch I could give you, but I was starting to write this mission statement, and it's like what came to mind was one of my business mentors early in life was Roy Spence. He's the S of GSD&M, a big advertising agency,
Okay.
and he said he I mean, he's like very well known in the business world, and he's doing this business talk, and somebody says, "What's your business plan?" And he says, "Make money. What's yours?"
I will
You know, make money. What's yours? And so the same thing kind of for my mission statement. It's like heal people. I mean, is there much more to it? You know, heal, like have a healing experience with the souls. But to your question on how I teach, like if you were coming to my class for the first time,
yeah.
right? I like it to be very empowering and very off the hook. And so I start out by saying, I know you were born psychic. You don't have to prove anything to me. I believe in you, whether you do or not. We have most of us are fortunate to have these five senses that extend out from the physical body into the supernatural realm. And some of us really like playing football, and some of us really like playing piano. But we can all do it if we train. But some of us are just kind of better at some of them than others. So whether you're like the football player or the piano player, you have these skills and talents. And so the first step is kind of to go through the clairs and figure out which ones you naturally are good at and which ones you maybe want to work on. And so, like in music, right? If you're trying to play a song, you got to start with the chords, and it's boring. And so in mediumship and psychic work, you got to start with things like colors and chakras. We call them chanklas. The chakras.
That's another word. Is it chakras or chakras?
Yeah, right. It depends. Are you yeah, it just depends.
Are you northern or southern? I don't know.
Yeah. And so, you have to start with some basics. And like I said, I think I was taking colors from Janet No Havoc, and I'm like, are you seriously going to talk about colors right now? Like, you're one of the best mediums in the world. I don't want to talk like I know about colors.
Yeah.
And then it became real for me. And here's how. This is an example I give a lot in my classes. I was doing a cold case, and I was reading for the client,
Okay.
the author of a book, and law enforcement, and me. And so we're on a Zoom, and we're going through what happened, and I'm giving them a highway number, and I'm giving them some other things. And then I get to the part where I say, oh, it feels like I had a piece of information about a law enforcement agency. And I said that there were two. And they said, that's correct. Can you differentiate? And the only way that I could differentiate, they were both blue. I said blue, and they said they're both blue. And they said, can you differentiate? And the only reason I could is because I had practiced colors in Janet's class. So I could tell light blue from dark blue and navy blue from royal blue, right?
Yes.
So,
Oh, that makes so much sense. Yes.
right. So you start by believing in yourself. You start by having a clear and health. I tell people being psychic is a lifestyle, and it may not be for you. And it's, being psychic means you have there's a certain devotion that you have. You sit for meditation every day. You practice connecting with spirit. We go through the ethics of it, right? Like never asking for other people's information, other people. We go through like the do's and don'ts, the ethics and the integrity piece. And just like how I set up for a reading and how I close down for a reading, and then I encourage them to get creative in their process. And just that, like, you got nothing to prove. I know you're psychic. And I'll tell you what, like, even though I say that, I'm like, well, I mean, it's like their first day. I don't know, how's it going to go, right?
Right.
Every time, spirit blows me away.
Mhm.
I'm like, when I teach remote viewing, they can describe any house, and I'm like, wow, like, y'all, if we were solving murders, we would have solved one tonight because
Yeah.
y'all nailed it. And there's something that happens in class when you're practicing as a group,
Mhm.
just like going to yoga. Like, you just do better when you're with people than if you're on your own watching YouTube. It's the same thing. It's like there's something that happens with spirit in that group dynamic that it just fascinates me.
It always raises the vibration, doesn't it? It just goes,
Yeah.
whoosh, So
Yeah.
many people go, oh my God, I want to do one-on-one. Oh, fabulous. I can give you that individual attention, but it doesn't mean it's going to lift you up higher than if I put you in a group. Because
Mhm.
sometimes that group can just literally bring you to the ethers,
Yes.
dynamic. People don't realize that. It's so funny because when we talk about that, it reminds me of when my mentor and my boss is Lisa Williams, and I've only actually seen her one demonstration gallery, one in all this time,
Uh-huh.
once. And I remembered her looking at the audience, going, "Okay, I need you all to do me a favor." And they were like, "Okay, what?" She's like, "After each spirit, after each reading, I need you to clap." And they kind of looked at her. She goes, "I don't need it for my ego because I know I'm good. But you're
Oh,
going to help me raise the vibration of the room together." And coming together and clapping in celebration raises that energy like whoosh. You know what I mean? It was so dynamic.
yeah.
So I actually practiced that at the last gallery, and I didn't say it, I actually taught to somebody else, and they had brought that up to everybody. And I was blown away because I'd never had that in my own gallery. And that group to bring up that vibration, it was like the first reading was good, but second reading was holy. By the time we're done, it was like energy exploding on your chest because this room is lifting the vibration, not just one person or two people. So it was really dynamic. It was amazing.
We're gonna be clapping in my classes now.
You know what? I might have to put that in myself. Like, hey, I want round of applause for everybody, not just hey, I can take it.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's huge. People don't realize that.
Oh, and music is too, right? Like, I like to play a song before, but it needs to be an uplifting one. It's not like this. I think people think of like, I like to sit for sure for meditation, put on some sitar, light the incense. I'll sit there quiet. But if we're doing readings, like, I want some music that is positive, that is uplifting, that brings energy to it. And
Right.
so I usually start my classes with some of that too. But now we're gonna clap. I like this.
I like it. Oh, she's like, "No, clap it." I was the power of it was huge. I can't even tell you, Tiffany. It was like, I mean, I got to witness it with Lisa, but you know what? Lisa already brings her energy. You know what I mean? I
Right.
don't think anything can falter that. But for myself to feel it was like, oh, there's something to this. There's something to this, which I love, which I love.
Yes.
So let's jump into how you go from this and that to publishing. I mean, and owning your own publishing company. I mean, come on. I know a few people, but how do you get to that point?
Okay, so my publishing journey came. This is kind of a fun story. It came when I was doing events, when I was doing live music events, when I was pitching festivals and whatnot. And so at that point, I did have kind of like a 9-to-5 job, but I was living this festival life. And so my dad said, I think you've been in the wrong job for a long time. Why don't you quit? And I thought, okay. Quitting never dawned on me. It wasn't like an option. I just was like doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing.
Mhm.
So I went in and I quit, and I had no plan and no money and no ability to pay rent. And I started this whole like festival lifestyle thing. I was doing these consulting works, and I pitched this particular festival called the Gypsy Picnic. And I went around to all the different food trucks and invited them in. We hired musicians. It was down at Auditorium Shores on the water, on the lake. And I wrote all their stories, and which was like a way for them to pass down their family recipes from their culture, from their heritage.
Right.
And then basically it was kind of like a community cookbook for Austin. And it went so well that I did like 7 other books just like that in other cities. And so through that journey, I was publishing with different places and people and companies. And I even worked at I worked at 2 different publishing companies because of that part of my life.
Right.
And it just wasn't good for the author.
Okay.
And so because I had learned all the tricks of the trade at that point, I was like, stop with the everything behind this curtain mojo. And I just wanted to have a publishing company that I could produce my metaphysical books, my cookbooks, whatever, my beekeeping stuff, and a place for authors to come that they didn't have to get the runaround of the system.
Mhm.
And I never it's a very author forward company. I just want everybody to be able to produce their book. Like that's it, And so sometimes people want to produce under Spellbound, which is the metaphysical side,
Mhm.
or they want to publish on their own label and they'll just hire us to publish for them to get them in the bookstore system. They need to have a book for their business or for their own life purpose to get something out and their own soul creation or to promote something that they're doing. There's lots of reasons people write books.
Right.
And so it's not like it always fits into the publisher's parameters. And that's why I think it's such a great option that you can do something under your own imprint and for your own.
Right.
So I got into publishing because I got screwed around a whole lot.
I guess myself.
And I just understood the way to do it. And there's a template that works and it can be done well. And I'm not saying that every publisher that I worked with was bad. They weren't, but they taught me a lot of lessons. And so that's really what the impetus was for forming that company.
And I will tell you, I thank God you do that, because I will tell you what, I've been looking at writing a book since Lisa, actually before Lisa, but she did one of her mini readings on me for class, and she looked at me, she goes, "You have a book in there and you need to write it." And I went, "Oh, okay, I can do this." And I was going like, here we go. And then the more I looked into not the writing part, but the publishing part,
Yeah.
the more I've gone further away and
Yeah.
further away and further away. And then finally a company's like, "Okay, you pay us $10,000 and we'll help you write it," and blah, 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 blah. And you're going, okay, further away and further away. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like Spirit's written the book. I can't tell you how many times, word for word in my mind. Like all I have to do is type. That's all I have to do. They're like downloading it. But that whole publishing thing is like, no, no, no. You know what I mean? Just because I know what it can,
I
So,
do. And I didn't want that hurdle anymore. And I
yeah,
didn't. And so that was really why I did it.
yeah. I mean, I even dabbled with Amazon and made a couple of little, I don't know, books with lines in it. I mean, nothing major, like more journals. And even that was a pain in the butt. So to be able to do that, what you do, that service for people is huge. That's
Thank you.
huge. I
Yeah.
love that.
Thank you.
I love that, So, where do you I mean, you also have is it Wise Skies?
Wise Skies, yeah.
Let's
So
talk. I love that.
yeah, Wise Skies, what started as an astrology company, and I was a guest writer for Wise Skies. And I wrote for a year and a half, and the owner at the time said, "I think I'd like to pass the torch forward. Would you like to buy the company?" And I was like, "Yeah, I would." And so I purchased the company, and it is an astrology based company. And as I grew stronger in my psychic readings, it couldn't just be astrology. And so it went from this like astrology blog where we take astrology clients, and it really grew into something that Spirit had in mind, which is Wise Skies is a metaphysical counseling company. We offer one-on-one sessions through different modalities such as astrology, mediumship, Akashic records, tarot. There are different readers that are employed through Wise Skies, which is great for them because they don't have to start their own business, right?
Right.
And it's good for the Wise Skies family because they're introduced to different types of readers, whether they're people that have been trained by me or others that have gone through our protocol. There are people that are well advanced in topics that I will never understand, So we offer this one-on-one classes, sessions, but we also offer classes that are complimentary to our members. So as part of the membership, people get access to classes, they get discounts on readings, they get all kinds of goodies in their inbox. And it's this community that has formed that started as just astrology, but now it's seekers that are really trying to improve their life and to understand themselves through some different lenses. It's a pretty solid group of people, women 35 to 65-ish, and most of them are on some kind of self inquiry journey. And so there's some commonality with that. So that's really what Wise Skies started as and now has morphed into.
I love that. I do, because people don't realize, I mean, at least in our world, mediumship, we have, there's so many other worlds through there, but, just to have a place for at least even mediums to go, oh my God, my life is falling apart, and why? You know what I mean? Because mediumship anyway, first day of beginners, I look at everywhere, you're going to get tickle tummies by the time you're done with this class. But if you progress, Spirit will more than likely change your whole life in ways that you're not exactly prepared for, and a deep journey into your soul that might just crack you. And they look at me like,
yeah. And
it may not happen at the second level, but by the time we're done, trust me, and they always look at me like, really? And it's even the most, I've even had the most sound, calm lady, blah, 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 taking pilot lessons because she's going to overcome her fear of flight.
Oh my God.
Heights, because Spirit said, you need to do this. And she went, and she, you know what I mean? It's amazing to have a place that for everybody to be able to go and be able to get help through that is huge. It's huge. And maybe I just took a whole different angle than what you were thinking, but it's like,
no, it really, I mean, that's exactly it. It's people come when they're cracked, and when they're cracked open and they need clarity and they need to find grounding and really just kind of come back to themselves. So I think that's a beautiful way of putting it.
I'm happy that you have it, because I know when I was cracked, I had Lisa. Thank God I had Lisa, because when I cracked, honey, in the middle of Lilydale, halfway through my master teachership, I'm lying in Lisa's floor and her apartment side, under her studio apartment underneath her house, in the bathroom, crawled up like a baby, crying, sobbing. I mean, not like tears. I mean, wailing, cracked open, going, oh, just shoot me now. You know what I mean? Of course, mine's a little more dynamic than most. But thank God I had somebody like her to go, okay, I know what just happened, and let's spend a year of doing soul coaching to get you back, the best self of you. But there wasn't a place for me to go. You know what I mean? There wasn't a place, and it's amazing that there's a place for people to go to for that.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. That's you. If I'd known about you before, honey, I'd have been on your doorstep. Hello, looking over there. Can I see through the window? Yeah, let me in. No, you're too much. You're the mission.
No. We encourage to bring everything. Don't leave anything at the door.
Don't leave anything at the door, huh?
No, bring it all in and get messy with it. They say that, what is it, like spiritual? Have you seen that meme where it's like spiritual development is like baptizing a cat? It's like that, there's a lot of yes, but, or there's a lot of things that we go through because our mind is trying to keep us safe.
Right.
And so that's okay, but it's part of the psychic development or part of this self development journey is understanding that different, how to work with the mind so that the mind isn't working against us through these challenging moments when we're on the bathroom floor trying to claw our way out. Right?
And I'm telling you that, I mean, can you picture that? Because that's what it was.
I can. I get the whole thing.
200 pounds at that time, so trust me, it wasn't pretty. And people outside the door were talking about fairy hunting, and I'm like, Of course, excuse me, I don't think they knew what I was doing until they heard me really wailing. They're like, whoa, wait a second. I think she's lost her mind. And it's funny because as I'm seeing the meme, I'm seeing my own meme going, here I was like trying to tote this big old medieval wagon, where they have all the wares all over.
Yeah.
Like the bags are falling and I'm trying to pull it, myself. And now when I'm finally to the door, I've got this tiny little purse, this little backpack purse. And now I finally let go of that. You know what I mean? But people don't realize you can let go of that. You can make that load lighter and lighter and lighter by digging deeper, and
Mhm.
again, to have a place is just amazing. It's amazing. So I also wanted to bring up, you've just got recently asked to go to a church.
I
You brought
did.
it up. I want to bring it up. Wow, what an honor. What an amazing honor.
There's no other way to describe it. I don't know what happened yesterday, but I got the strangest amount of most honoring invites. I actually messaged Tawny is in our community. Tawny
Yeah,
Lewis, one of our
yeah, I love
fellow
her.
investigators. We traded readings a while, like in April, and she had said, "I think you're going to be traveling. I see you more in media next year." And I'm like, "Okay." And well, yesterday I was invited to speak at the Church of the Living Spirit, which is in my mind like the highest honor,
It's
and
church.
I just can't. What's worse is that it's like in February. It's like so far away that I'm gonna have all this time to like get nervous about it. But I like after the service yesterday, I was invited, and of course, like that's a to me, like you were talking about earlier. Am I gonna die now? Like that was it. That's what I want.
That was it.
And
I
Spirit's like, well, you're gonna make it till February at least because we got this gig for
got
you.
this gig, yeah, and I mean, what an honor, because that is my church. I was just there a few weeks ago, and I got to watch Lisa speak, and I've gotten to stand up on there, not as to speak like you're going to, but I've had the honor of doing messages in my church, that church. I want to say my church, not that church, my church, because it is. I mean, just paid my fees like a week ago. You didn't keep me for another year, thank goodness. But
Mhm.
the honor and that beautiful little church is just so, gosh, I mean, that's just like the epitome of something, knowing you made it.
Well, that's how it felt, and it also I'm just reminded that it's like you're not really working for you are working for in the earthly realm, but Spirit is my employer, and so I'm going to say yes to anything like that because I know that whatever they're up to, whatever they're aligning, is helping both realms, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, huge honor. The same day, I got invited to go do live in person in Las Vegas readings, and then I don't know, there was another one where I'm like, what, like, so January it's California, New York, and then February it's Las Vegas, and I'm like, like, whoa, what? Like, yes, I'm ready to go out and do stuff, but it feels like something has shifted in my practice where I'm not just so comfortable behind the Zoom camera and doing the little things from my corner of the world, and where it's like time to get back out with people and doing demonstrations.
Isn't that amazing? I love that. I love that. And so, and I keep waiting for it. I mean, I'm having little things here and there, but I'll take it. You know what I mean? It's just,
Yes,
it's
yes,
when our journey's supposed to happen. It's just when our journey's supposed to happen. So,
which we don't create. Like there's all this manifesting talk. It's like it's just not about that. It's just show up and do your job, and they'll put you where they're needed.
and that's exactly it. And people don't realize that. They don't realize that things happen the way they're supposed to happen. You
Mhm.
know, and it's so funny because when you were talking about other readings and your astrology chart and everything, they picked when I was in mastermind this last couple of not last week, I think it was the week before. Anyway, I was there with a bunch of astrologers,
Oh,
girls who are like, and I don't do astrology. I'm sorry. I attempted and I went, no, not for me.
yeah.
You know,
It's, it's
I
its
just
own language.
it's its own language. And I went, if I'm not going to learn Spanish, I'm probably not going to learn astrology.
Yeah.
I loved how you put in there whole looking at, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Your analogy was like, oh, I might have learned it if I'd seen it that way.
Hmm.
So, but I was looking at learning it from a guy that was all science and this and that. I'm like, I failed ninth grade science. I don't know how it's not going to happen. Anyway, but they picked my chart apart. I mean, they were like, ooh, ah,
Hmm.
I'll have to send it to you sometime because
I would love to see it.
but I'll send it to you and you'll be like, holy shit. I guess that's what they said anyway. But when they do say it to you, when they bring up these readings, especially charts, it was, you're like, what am I going to do with this? And I'm like, what am I going to do with this?
Yeah.
And they're like, you've got the God sign. I'm like, okay. They're like, have you activated? I'm like, I don't know. Have I? How do I do it? Can I activate it? I'll activate it. Let's do it. I'll do anything else. Let's do this.
Right? Light it up.
Yeah, yeah. Don't give me the dead lighter. I want the So, I love it. So what else do you have coming? What else do you have coming? Oh my gosh.
Well, those are the big things, those are the big 3 things, and so I'm not sure, I don't know, I haven't really asked Spirit because it's like that was a lot yesterday, like you said, it's like this pinnacle moment in my life right now, and
Love it.
I'm just so humbled, I'm just so humbled by it, and I'm, like, really excited to deliver messages there,
And I'm
otherwise.
not some big place, but I would love to just share a stage with you someplace and deliver messages because
Let's
you're
do it. Let's do it. Absolutely. I would love to. And, I have a lot of authors in your part of the world. And so I do come to your part of the
Oh,
world.
do you?
And yeah. And
That's awesome.
frequently.
I got
Yeah.
family in your part of the world. Well, not yours, Boston, but
Yeah. Texas is a big state. You can drive all day and still be in it.
well, yeah.
You
You can
know?
drive, I think, about 2 days and still be in town.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Mine are all up in Westworth, up in that area, you know what I mean? Westworth, Arlington, you know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah.
know? So a few of them ventured down to a few, smaller, but not quite as far as you. So
Well, I love it. Texas is its own universe, its own. We've got mountains, we've got ocean, we've got hill country, we've got dry desert, we've got high desert, we've got low desert. I mean, it's every landscape is right here, and this
yeah,
is a really diverse group of people.
yeah,
You would think, back in the day, it's like, oh, you're talking about mediumship in Texas. It was just so foreign where I grew up, and so to develop that over time, in a place where I'm like, I mean, this is who I am. Like, I'm part country girl and part psychic girl and part, after we get done, I'm going to go out and do some beekeeping and gardening and, hike around with the dogs. It's very wild. We've got coyote. We've got, like there's an element to it that just feels very like primal out here.
right.
And, I just am so grateful for whatever Spirit has in store for me for next year. One of the big projects that we just got launched was our digital astrology calendar.
Okay.
It's
Yes.
I'm gonna give you a copy, and the reason it's great for all levels is because I wrote descriptions, and so you don't really have to know what it means that Neptune is Cazimi the sun, because the description is in there, and
I
so
love
you can work with it. It's just like having a weather forecast, but from the planets.
right.
And so the digital calendar, to me, it's like I check it before I make appointments. I'm like, is this a good time? Is this a bad time? And it's on it's in your calendar system. So like I use Google, it's on any calendar, and it travels with you. So when you change time zones, it changes, and it's really
Oh,
fluid and fun.
that's so cool. And I will tell you what, there's a lot to that because there's a not a astrologer calendar, but I actually purchased one last year from a numerologist.
Mhm.
And I scheduled and it's no secret. I tell the world I had gastric bypass. It'll be almost a year. You know what I mean? And I scheduled it without consulting that calendar.
Mhm.
Probably a mistake.
Mhm.
And I ended up it turned out to be like the worst day of my life to have a surgery.
Yeah.
And I will tell you what, literally, it was like they had to keep me drugged up an extra 4 hours in the recovery room because there wasn't a bed for me. And then they finally got me up, and the pain was horrendous. And they were like, "What is going on?" They couldn't figure out. A day later, they're like, "We might have to put her back in for surgery because we're not sure if something's gone wrong," and blah, blah, blah. And it all was because I sipped off a straw. They didn't flip my shaking up, and it correlated in my stomach, so it became a hard ball causing all this pain. And it was like, if I hadn't had surgery the next day or the day before, life probably would have been a lot simpler. And I look back at that going, there was something to that. Like something was going to happen no matter what, because it just was not,
Right.
it wasn't a good day in numerology. It wasn't a good astrological day, nothing,
Mhm.
So, you know what old wives' tales, quote, quote, and I'm going to
Mhm.
put quotes around it because some people are still in the old wives' tales, you know, winter's almanac type thing, Um, but there's a lot to it. There's a huge amount to it, you know?
I mean, I just like I said, I look at it like I'm looking at the weather. I wanna know what vibe I'm walking into
Right.
so I can plan accordingly, If I know it's gonna be intense out there, I have a lot more love in my heart for everybody that is driving, Like,
Mhm.
I can it's a way that I can use the tools instead of being affected by the weather and start to influence it somewhat, right? So I can enter a bad day knowing that people are going to be a little bit more intense, that they're going to be feeling their feelings a little bit more. I can enter a full moon period knowing that there's going to be more that's illuminated, that a good time for missing persons, missing objects. I can work with it with forensics. I can work with it with people's birthdays that just want to be like, what should I focus on this year?
Right.
And so you can get that. Like, I'm saying that's how I use the calendar, right? Like, so the calendar is the 2023 one just launched, which people would say, don't do that during a Mercury retrograde period. Like, I was born with Mercury in retrograde. Like, I can work with the data. And so it's out. And so that's really exciting in my business world too.
I'm going to have people go looking for that because that's pretty cool. That's really cool. Now, tell me something about this Mercury retrograde, because normally I don't feel them. You know what I mean? I might feel a little bit with, okay, my lights might flicker. Usually for me, it's not really feeling it.
Yeah.
But last week was, excuse my language, a bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, this has something to do with this retrograde. I don't know what it is, but oh my God, I'm just going to go into a little bubble. I'm not coming out, you know. It was awesome.
The astrology is kind of a secret weapon for people to start to go back into their self-reflection mode. So it's a great thing to blame. Like, when everything's going wrong, it's like, it must be the astrology. And then they come visit me and we talk about what really matters. You know what I mean?
I know.
So it's like the scapegoat thing that goes on. But, to answer your question, the astrological weather has been very intense lately. We're facing, in addition to Mercury retrograde, we're facing a Saturn-Uranus square is coming back into play, which happened 3 times in 2020. Right? I'm on my wrong timeline. It happened 3 times. So February 17th and June, and then again in December. And I remember those dates because in Austin, we had a freeze that was unprecedented. Many lives were lost. It was crazy. In June, the same thing. Our power grid went out and everybody was hot and died from that. And then in December, it was a very strange cycle. I would describe it as a gong crash.
Right.
And so we're kind of creeping in on a last gasp of that, like, gong crash feeling, on top of it being Mercury retrograde. And so the retrogrades are just a great time to edit, to go back over stuff, not really start something new, but to pivot, to reassess.
Right.
And when we know that, it's like, I'm not exempt from it. I had a lot of Mercury stuff go wrong last week too. Like, emails that went out at weird times, or things that weren't like, there was just a lot of miscommunication or no communication, or,
I sent more people to their spam folder last week than I think I've ever done. Everybody's like, I didn't receive my list. I didn't receive. Go to your spam. I know I'm in your spam. Just go to your spam. Yeah, but a lot of deep soul searching. You're 110%. Because as you said, they like to, I'm like, God, I'm right. I'm one of those. I want to blame astrology, but it really wasn't. It was me looking in here and me going, and bringing that back up. So,
well, astrology too, I find amplifies, right? Like, out there, what's going on in here. And so if I personally am not feeling organized, or if I'm personally feeling chaotic, the astrology, the tone of the day is going to amplify that feeling. And I'm going to, as a person, think that it's some outside force that's influencing me, when in fact I am part of the storm, And so I'm go back to like meditate, to be still, to be quiet, to go through my self-care checklist. And do I really need to be out in the mix, or do I need to be unplugged a little bit more? And so that's another way you can work with it. Astrology, I'll give you like astrology 101. It's like the birth chart is like a play for your whole life. And so, yes, there's some predestiny, but there's also some free will. The planets are the actors. They have personalities. The signs are the wardrobe, right? So I behave a lot different in a red dress than I do in a black hoodie, than I do in a ballerina costume, right?
Right.
Work of Phil Zimbardo, right?
Yep.
So the planets are the actors. The signs are the wardrobe. They behave differently depending on what sign they're in. Yep. And the houses are kind of the lay of the land, the landscape. So is this play between us taking place in the 7th house of relationship? Is this play between us taking place in the 4th house of home and family and roots and things that I can't control?
Right.
Is it taking place in the 10th house of career? And so you start to get a flavor for all of that.
Right.
Each of the planets I've like name as different people. Like I kind of have like a caricature in my mind when I'm describing them. The sign's the same way, right? So
I love that. I'm gonna have to take an astrology class from you. I could do that. You know what I mean? You took science out of it and made it real. You know,
yeah.
I might have to hook up into your program, just click on that astrology class just to see how this works.
yeah. It can be a really fun tool.
Yeah.
As long as you use it for yourself and not against yourself, right?
Like I said, I'm a 0-degree Aquarius. I need help someday. Me, that makes no sense. And I'm born at the very tail end of a moon. So it was like, yeah, and they're just like, no, people tell me I take the heart out of things sometimes. I'm like, I'm very passionate. You know, I'm very passionate, but
You know, Aquarius like is fixed air, right? And so they're the most visionary, right? You have the most visionary ability of the zodiac when you talk about Aquarius. But they're also this like there's a separateness too. There's this feeling of alienation that occurs early in life, you know, and this feeling of being very futuristic, being ahead of your time. And so therefore your whole timeline starts to feel a little bit like where I was born in the wrong time kind of feeling, you know? And
oh yeah, I resonate with that.
it's very common wherever you have planets or wherever Aquarius is in your chart.
Yeah.
So
I'll send you my chart, not for the reading, just for you to understand.
yeah, I would love to see you that way.
Reading, I'll send you literally what somebody sent me last week when they went, oh my God, and they did the numbers, and they went, and I'll just send you what she sent me, and you can go, like I said, not for the reading, but for you to, so I can figure out now. So
Right.
your eyes just lit up like.
It's such a fun tool. Like astrology is, it can be such a fun tool. Psychic mediumship is where you get the wows and the synchronicities, and astrology is where you can kind of sink into your own bones. Like when somebody describes you or reflects back to you and your life makes sense and you're not this big question mark floating around space, you know, you're like, you somehow get permission to be yourself is my experience, you know?
And big, and that's you, and that's exactly what it is, because I wasn't into astrology. I mean, like I said, I went to study it. Gosh, I was in nursing school, so we're looking at back in my early 20s, and we can't. And back in the early, I mean, it literally they were just starting like computer programs for it. You know what I mean? So, you know, it was all book based and charts, and there was I wasn't going to do that in nursing school. I didn't want to do nursing school, let alone that. You know. But I will tell you what, as time has progressed, and literally it was in January, I think I got my first astrology reading from somebody, and they went, this is what's going on with you. This is what, you know, I mean, blah, 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 what's happening this year. And I went, whoa, wait a second. There is other than my, you know, paper in the newspaper horoscope, which I always read, makes sense to me though, you know what I mean? But now I understand why it didn't make sense to me, you know? So, you know, it's all those wonderful things. So now I don't necessarily know if I want to study it a great deal, but to understand it more would be huge, and then to see where your life goes. So, so how can people find you? Because I've already got one person going, oh my God, thank you so much for her. I'm following this woman, and I know she's talking about me. So how can they find you, Miss Tiffany?
Okay, so wiseskiescollective.com is the best way, because if you're wanting to do metaphysical type stuff, spellboundpublishers.com is the best way for our books, for doing, if you want to write your book or if you want to publish. So those are the two best ways to find me. There's a free sample of the astrology calendar at wiseskiescollective.com. So you can go to the calendar page and see what's going on, see what's cooking for this month and this week. And that's the best way to find me. I have a podcast. It's called Wise Skies. And so it's available on all of the platforms. We have a great YouTube channel where you can catch the forecast, or just different people that are teaching classes that have like specific workshop focuses. And we would love to have you in the community. That's so sweet.
I love that because, like I said, you were going to touch so many people's lives just with this one. So I'm just so honored So thank you so much, Tiffany, for coming on, honoring me. And I have the privilege of watching you over the next year. So
All right.
hey, and I am serious about those two things because I'll tell you what, I've just fallen in love with you. You don't even know. And every time I talk to you, it's like more and more. I'm like, God, I'm becoming a Tiffany fan. No,
Oh,
nothing like that, but you know what I mean.
thank you. That's sweet. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a beautiful day. And again, thank you for coming on. And for everybody else, I'll be back in a few minutes with your weekly reading. This is DeEtte Ranae with School Through Spirit on WLTKDB.com. Thank you, Tiffany.
The truth is here and now on WLTKDB Talk Radio at WLTKDB.com.
Hi, everybody. This is Patty Negri.
Hi, I'm Pete Orbea.
Hi, this is Nicole Strickland.
My name is Hero.
My name is Sean Clem.
Hey everybody, Cleet Keith here, author of Ghost of Greystone Beverly Hills. I'm excited to invite you to the OC Paracon, which is going to be the first week in October.
Now that's just some of the people you're going to meet at Orange County Paracon. That would be Anaheim's first ever paranormal conference. I'm Henry, the organizer and also the host of Paranormal Perception, inviting you to meet those people that you just saw. You'll meet everybody, including some guests, some people that we haven't even announced on the website. It's going to be a surprise. Everything, info, tickets available on that website, ocparacon.com. Hope to see you to kick off our favorite time of the year in Anaheim at OC Paracon.
Take us with you on the go and download the new WLTK DB mobile app. Search the App Store and Google Play under WLTK DB Talk Radio. Download free today. The unexplained. It's all around us and usually supplies more questions than answers. You need answers. You need Cross Country Paranormal. Founded by Benjamin Young, CCP seeks to train, educate, and mentor anyone that has a passion for the paranormal. CCP is building a network of teams and investigations across the country, and all experience levels are welcome. Learn more about CCP on their website, ccpinvestigations.com, where you can find frequently asked questions, check out their equipment, follow their latest events, and of course, shop. Visit them now at ccpinvestigations.com. That's ccpinvestigations.com. Cross Country Paranormal. All are welcome. All are family.
This is WLTKDB Talk Radio.
Hey everybody, welcome back. This is DeEtte Ranae here with School Through Spirit on WLTKDB.com. And what a fantastic morning this has been. Oh my gosh. Just amazing. Tiffany is just mind-blowing awesome. I love her, and I really hope many people follow her. Join her community of wise guys, because it really is. It's touching people's lives and it's making a difference. And I think that is about the most huge thing that can possibly happen to me. It's mind-blowing. I want to do our 5-card stud today, guys, and I'm using Denise Lynn's Sacred Travel Oracle deck. Here you go. There you go, guys. For the 5-card stud. There we go. So, and I need to move that up a little bit. I need to talk about that in a second. So let's do 5 cards here, guys. You can pick card number 1, card number 2, 4 cards, 5 cards, whatever you want. Again, this is your journey, what you need to work on this week, or maybe just a little bit of guidance, whatever it might be. But let's, and then I'm going to do Beyond Lumera. I'm never going to pronounce that correct. I'm telling you, Lumera. Oracle deck is a clarification card. So card number 1, grounding, guys. Go deep, explore your roots. I think this really is a great beginning to this. So grounding is huge, guys. It is really twofold. So you like how it says grounding on top and go deep and explore your roots. I think you need to do both, okay? Because this really is 2 totally separate things, okay? This is like 2 messages in one. So grounding is really finding that footing, finding your footing, getting so that, you can do the deep breaths, the wusa, and kind of balancing this inner part of you. Okay. And that's a simply state of what grounding is. It's finding that inner balance, taking that moment, relax, taking some deep breaths, go hug a tree. that type of situation. But finding your deeper roots, I do believe when we're looking at this, you need to find balance within yourself and you need to start to explore a little bit deeper of who you are. And this might be the balance of your week this week, guys. So if you picked card number 1, it really is going in here and find out, oh my gosh, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? How do I want to see things? Okay. How do I want to be? And I'll tell you what, I'm having that too. And the funny thing is, look how red my forehead is. Did you notice the whole time Tiffany was on? I kept scratching it was like I was scratching my third eye. It was like I was clearing gunk out, scratching. I don't know what it's about, but oh my God, I've got myself so red. Card number 2, grace and gratitude. Through gratitude, joy expands. I like this card. I love. I need to take a moment and just love this card because really, this is really the dynamic of our life. We can't, we speak a lot about manifestation. We speak a lot about wanting things. We speak a lot about how do I bring more into my life? How can I make this happen? And really, just having gratitude is huge. Okay. Huge. We can't explore things. We can't make things better. We can't get more until we look at the gratitude and expand that. Okay. When I wake up in the morning, I thank the good Lord for who I am and allow me to be me. And I thank Him for my business and I thank Him for the people that come to me. And I thank Him for the joy that I have within my life. And throughout the day, it just gets bigger and broader. And no matter how things might feel, maybe I feel a little destitute, maybe I feel a little bit down in the dumps. But if I put joy and gratitude back into that, it turns it all around because I know at the end of the day I'm going to be okay. And I know it's going to only build. So really, if you pick card number 2, it's about gratitude. Expand out that gratitude to the ethers and really allow that part of you to shine. And then watch it to come back into you. Card number 3, infinite abundance. Abundance is pouring into your life. I think this is my reading for me and for you. So whoever picked all these cards, go you. So infinite abundance, abundance is, good morning, Miss Ranae. I'm glad you made it home safe, darling. Abundance is pouring into your life. And I think this card might be for you, Ranae, because it just came when you clicked on. So this abundance card, it's really looking at not just financial, guys, it's looking at everything. And I know we like to put abundance as a monetary type of thing. We do. But if you look at this card, it is, look at the joy of everybody around. They're picking apples and they're using family to come together and the fruits of their labor and a harvest. And that's what this is about. It's about knowing that all these amazing good things are coming to you. Okay, all of them. And when you start, and it truly is, when they got together, it was, oh my gosh, look at this family that came together. And then it's like, oh my gosh, thank goodness we have, these tools to do this job. And thank goodness we have this great big sheet to put all those apples in. Why? Because there's less on the ground because we're able to catch them here. And that's more that we can use for tomorrow, in the cooking and all that wonderful thing. Okay. So look at all those amazing things that are coming into your life and more of them are coming on a regular basis. Why? Because the universe has said you can have this. Okay. So look at the abundance. Look and allow other things to come into your life because it's your time and it's coming to you. Card number 4, impasse, reflection, redirect your energy. God, this is a hard card, right? This is like the attitude adjustment card. This card is going, okay, you've got all this, right? And then you're still going, oh my God, which way do I go? What am I supposed to do? This card is telling you it's time for you to look within. Okay, what's going on? Attitude adjustment, redirect, change things, see things a different way, and come back out. Okay. And that's what this card is about because this is what you're doing. You're going, okay, do I need people? Do I not need people? Is my goals the wrong goals? Do I need to tweak them? Do I need to turn them? Whatever that might be. But it's your time to look within to see. Okay. And to myself, I'm hearing ding, 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 ding. I'm like, okay, I got it. People have been preaching to the choir with me. And I'll tell you what, this card makes sense. So it's time. If you pick number 4, it's time for you to go back in and go, I need to see me in a different way. You know what I mean? And then come back out fighting. Okay. So, and then watch the abundance come back in. And the last card number 5, it is choosing your path. All is possible. I like this card. Because it really is. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? How do you want to go there? You know what? Forever those people that, had somebody in society say, you can't do this or you can't do this. BS. You can do whatever you want to do. That's the coolest thing because, honey, we got freedom of choice. Okay, free will, freedom of choice. So know that no matter what you want to do, you can do it. And you are never off your path. If you're a person that looks at, the good book, or you look at like, I'm not on my path, blah, blah, you are never off your path. I don't care what it feels like, you're never off of it. But what you're looking at is how are you going to ride the roads on that path? And that's what your choice is. So know that no matter how you want to get there, you're going to get there, but how you do it is your choice. But know you can do it no matter what. Okay. If you want to do it by cart and buggy, if you want to do it by Lamborghini, it is your choice how you get there. But again, come down. It's your time to choose. So, number one is grounding. Find that balance and start doing some soul searching. Number two is that grace and gratitude. It's time to start exploring that happiness, that being appreciative of what is out there and having gratitude for what has been given to you. Number three is infinite abundance. Know that it is your time and that things are coming to you tenfold. Number four is it's time for you to have that attitude adjustment. And the only way to do that, guys, is really to go within. Look within and know that when you come back out, that everything's going to be changed a little bit. You're going to start to redirect that type of stuff. And number five is choosing that path because it's time. It is time. Remember, it doesn't change your destiny, guys, but it does let you know which way you're going to go through the woods, or you're going to go up over that hill. You're going to do a desert. You're going to swim it. How are you going to do it? How are you going to get there? It's yours to choose which way you want to go on that. Okay? Oh, my God. Have you ever put your cards in backwards and then figure it out later? So let's look at our clarification card, guys. And again, I'm using the Beyond Lemuria Beyond Lemuria card. So let's do a little shake, shake, and a shuffle, shuffle. Over this weekend, I was teaching my granddaughter how to shuffle, and it was so cute because she's got these itty bitty little hands, and it was so awesome. She did so good. So good. So proud of her in so many ways. Okay, so let's do a little cut. So many beautiful things around me. This is I can't make this shit up. Told you I felt like this reading might be, I needed to take all the cards. So you see that gorgeousness of that card? Isn't that beautiful? I just want to go, and go, wow, a dynamic card. So this is the third eye chakra, the pineal perspective. Remember, I've been itching this all morning. I've been itching this. Connect with your third eye and transcend with what you understand with your mind. Discover a deeper inner knowing through the interconnected web of all this is and has been. You can tune into the wisdom at will, as and when you wish to. This wisdom is ancient yet pioneering. It is the creator of the free will we choose to weave from moment to moment. Be the observant witness. Allow the transcendence of duality without judgment. Be mindful, listen, and allowing your unfurling intuition to unravel the paradoxes of reality. It's pretty deep. It's pretty deep, which is pretty awesome. You know what I mean? Which is really, really, really awesome. So hopefully, guys, you're able to understand that, take that, and go with it, which is pretty amazing. I did want to let you know I have a few things coming up. Last minute, last night, I decided I needed to do an online gallery. And I can't even tell you, 11 hours ago I posted it. So I don't, was it 10, 11 o'clock last night? They told me to do an online gallery. So I'm doing that. It is limited seating again. This time around, the tickets are $25 per person. It is going to be October 6th. That is a Thursday evening at 6 p.m. I'm going to go for about an hour and a half, give or take. Hour and a half, maybe it won't be less, but maybe longer, depending on how many people come. Again, it's $25 per person. And you can go to, I have it all over Facebook, guys. If you want to go to Facebook, whether it be my site, my public site, which is DeEtte Ranae, my public, which is DeEtte Ranae Psychic Medium, whatever you want to do, feel free to go in there and click. Again, not everybody's going to be guaranteed a reading, but I'm going to try to get to literally as many as I can. And depending on how many are there, I might go a little bit longer to see how many more I can get out. It's really going to be how we can keep the energy up and do this. Okay. Again, it's an online event. I keep it limited just because, I could take in 100 people, but you know what? 100 people, less chance of a reading, less people, more chance of a reading. And that's what I really want to do. Did you change the time you are on, or is it really early? I just opened my eyes. No, it's the same time, darling. You're just 2 hours ahead of me. And you were up late. And you normally come on for my Tuesday night show. My Tuesday night show. So I didn't. My Tuesday night show is my later reading, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Oh my gosh, I'm babbling now. So that is something that's huge there, guys, for me. Them doing that. I also, my gosh, my classes are always ongoing, which is always amazing. I just came back from a huge week. Well, actually, it's been back for over a week of taking in more knowledge, more ways to help people, which I'm just so excited to kind of bring that into the fold and do more things. I do have a gallery. I'm going to keep it like a secret, but it was with two other amazing mediums. Fucking rock star mediums that are in the very beginning works. Matter of fact, I have to email them back today because I kind of went off grid yesterday. To say yes, I'm in. I'm gonna do this. Let's awesome. I love you too, Masane. Oh honey, I don't know how much I appreciate you. So that's gonna be happening. Just gotta kind of do the dynamic of it. And as soon as we get everything, and that will be an in-person event, and we're gonna do for a really big haul and see how many people we can bring in just to really kind of affect a lot of different people. But again, that's in the very beginning works. A lot of things, you know what, this weekend, I'm taking a weekend off again this weekend because I'm spending it with my grandson. Toot, toot. But let's look. Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about next week. I have Maria Celeste Provolano Cook. Want to make sure I say it. Got to make sure I say her name right. I know it always just rolls up. Provenzano. I knew I didn't say it right. Because they're not all Italian. She's very much Italian. But Maria Celeste Provenzano Cook is coming on next Monday. And I will have full capability on my side to run the show because Maria's going to come on and go into trance for us. You have been here to experience a trance medium before. You did a month and a half ago with Janine from the UK. Maria is from America, and she is just she's my soul sister. I love this woman beyond, and I always only ever call her Maria Celeste. So, but Maria Celeste Provenzano Cook is coming in, and she's going to go into trance for us, guys. And her trance is just dynamically amazing, and you don't want to miss it. Again, it's going to be she's going to be bringing in, and we're going to do it the same format. You guys bring in your questions. We're going to have her, connect with whatever guide that's going to come through, or might be your loved one. Who knows? You know what? Because the sky really is the limit. I don't know how it's going to work because it's going to be spirit. It's going to be completely spirit run, but it will only be for 1 hour. But again, it's going to be a great morning. So I'm really super excited about that. And I have some dynamic people coming in the future because I got all of October booked, guys. And I'm not going to tell you about all of those. I do want to tell you about one other thing that's happening with me. I never thought I'd do it. I never thought I'd say yes. But guys, I am entering and going to be a medium for the Warren Legacy Foundation. I've got one more interview to do with Chris himself, who is it's just going to be dynamic. I cannot tell you what it means to me to be able to be part of that foundation and to give back, just to give back. Because again, the foundation is all free work. It's all pro bono free type stuff, and it's given to those that really need. And we've got some ideas in the working of being able to go back and readdress some of bigger cases of Ed and Lorraine that they did, which is really dynamic. We're really just in the beginning stages of a lot of things. And the more I know about it, the more I'll tell you guys about it. But a lot of good things are in the works. Just amazing, amazing things. Yeah, which is awesome. Just so many beautiful things are possibly happening. And as they unfold, I'm going to share them with you. And I can't wait. I honestly can't wait. So I want to talk about some of the shows that are on. Oh, coming on. There's so many. God, we have so many shows debuting this week. I want to bring those through, talk about those. I got to get to my picture that seems to have gotten lost in my picture of pictures because I got a lot of pictures. So, and then after this week, I might need a current one for next month because we're always growing. So, quick list. Monday mornings, always with myself, 9 a.m., School Through Spirit. Tuesdays at noon to 1 p.m. Today is Morning Monsters with Barnaby Jones. Be the Change with Christina Bloom is on at 8 p.m. tonight. And then the Paranormal Room with Christina and Logan Jacobson is on tonight at 9 p.m. And it does debut tonight. So, guys, you got to stay on for that extra hour. because Christina is a rock star. Tuesday, tomorrow morning is Exploring the Paranormal with Heather Lee. She starts at 9 a.m. She started last week. And remember, she is a major part of the Warren Legacy Foundation, and she's an author of a few books, a huge paranormal person, which is awesome. Tomorrow night is Unfiltered with myself, DeEtte Ranae, at 6 p.m. That's where I do one question readings for you guys. And Moment to Moment with Linda Hope is on right after that at 7. And Paranormal Pete with Mr. Pete Orbea is on at 10 p.m. Now, Wednesdays, we have a new show starting at 10 a.m. with Deidre Sanford. She is self-care. What's paranormal got to do with it? Love that title. And that's on Wednesday. Beyond that, again, another show debuting this week. Oh my God, I'm so excited. See and Beyond with Kelly Eckhart and Cheryl Murphy at 11 a.m. And you are going to love them because you guys already love Kelly. She was on my show. I love Kelly. I don't know Cheryl, but I know I'd love the heck out of her if I met her. But Kelly, again, is over. They're both in California. They're both dynamic mediums. And they've had a successful running show at another network, and they're just transferring it to ours. So can't wait to have them they're part of the family. I can't wait. Later on that day is the Psychic Hour with Kelly Brickle at 3 p.m. and Over the Target with Missy Hart and Nicole Ford is at 8 p.m. On Thursdays, we start the morning with Chat with Charlie with our own personal Stephanie Lynn at 9 a.m. Realm of Darkness with Rennie Rodriguez and Ashley Moreno is at 7 p.m. The Afterlife Chronicles with Nicole Strickland is at 8 p.m. And Voices of the Dead with Kenneth Drake is at 9. Friday, we start our morning with the Good Shit Show with Missy Hart. 3 p.m. is Kelly Brickle doing the Psychic Hour reading show, and that is strictly readings. At 8 p.m., we have got Secrets Within with Rennie Rodriguez. That's again at 8 p.m. And then Todd came back. Todd Bates, our producer, and Nicole Strickland both came back with Haunted Voices. That started last Friday, but it's going to be again this week at 10 p.m. And just so you guys know, Todd wrote a book and it's being published, and it's Haunted Voices, which is an awesome book. I haven't read it yet, and I know it's an awesome book. So that being said, guys, I appreciate you guys for showing up again today. Again, God bless the Queen and rest in peace. And you know, anybody that's downloading this show, anybody that's looking at it, feel free to go to my Facebook site, DeEtte Ranae, Psychic Medium, and hit the follow button. I would love to have you there. And I'll tell you right now, I get to 10,000 readers or followers. I'll throw everybody into a random drawing for a free 1-hour reading with me. Okay. So again, you have to go to my Facebook site, DeEtte Ranae, Psychic Medium. I hit the 10,000 mark, and I'll give a free reading. So, again, everybody, welcome. I'll see you next week. This is DeEtte Ranae with School Through Spirit at WLTKDB.com. Bye-bye, guys.